Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Maria, a systems administrator, and today I'll show you how to secure a specific virtual host using mod security with the OWASP Core Rule Set on Apache. Many tutorials show you how to enable it across your entire server, but that's not always the ideal approach. What if you have one site that needs maximum protection and another that it's just a simple page? Applying the same heavy rules to both can be inefficient and cause unnecessary conflicts. This setup is perfect for shared hosting environments where each site has different security needs. Let's dive in. But wait a moment. Before we move into the step-by-step setup, let's take a quick look at the logic behind it. This will help you to understand why we configure things the way we do, and how to make mod security work selectively for each virtual host. But if you're already familiar with this logic and want to skip straight to the hands-on part, feel free to use the timeline below. So let's have a look at this diagram. Everything starts with the global mod security config file, which is located here. Inside it, we're gonna change this rule that by default is gonna be set into, I think it's detection only mode, yes, but we are gonna turn it into off. Why? Because if we don't do it, it's gonna be on and it's gonna be applied to every virtual host, and we don't want that. So once it's turned into off, at some point we're gonna get an incoming HTTP request, and at this point it's gonna be Apache who is handling it. And if it's going to the unprotected local virtual host, then okay, nothing's gonna happen. The request is not gonna be inspected because this configuration file is gonna inherit this setting, the global one. And since it's turned into off, that's it. But what happens if it's going to the protected local one? So in this one, we're gonna turn the rule into on, and we are also going to set the paranoia level into 2. By default, it's turned into 1, like if you don't write anything, but 2 is also okay. Keep in mind that if you set up a higher level, you are more likely to get a false positive, so be careful. And then we also need to include the rules. The path may be different for you, so I will write the comments in the description box anyway. But be careful if you're copy pasting. And then, well, if we have set up all these properly, once the request goes through the virtual host, it's gonna follow this way, this road, and as a result, the request is gonna be inspected with all these rules. Because depending on the paranoia level, more rules or less rules are gonna be applied. So it's gonna be more or less aggressive depending on it. Now that we are all in the same page, we can move on and configure step by step. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to assume that you already have Apache 2 installed and that you have at least 2 active virtual hosts set up. One that will remain unprotected and another where we will enable mod security. First, we need to check if the mod security module is already installed on our server. We can do this with the dpkg command on Debian-based systems. If you see a result like I do, you are all set. If not, you can install it easily with the apt command. Now that it is installed, let's verify if it is also enabled. If you don't see it in the output, then you need to run this command and reload Apache for the change to take effect. Now we're gonna activate the default configuration file. To do so, we need to rename it. This is a very important step because the main module configuration, located here, is set up to automatically load any file ending in .conf from the etc mod security directory. So by renaming the file, we are going to activate it. Then we are going to edit this new file and turn mod security off globally. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's the key to enabling it only for a specific virtual host later. Then we are going to download the rules from the official GitHub repository. I'm using the version 4.1.0. Yes, but you should always check for the latest stable release. Then we just need to unpack it, and that is gonna create a new directory. We are gonna go into it and activate the setup configuration file, just like we did for the modsecurity one. At this point, this is where we bring it all together. We will now edit the Apache virtual host file for the website we want to protect. In my case, the file is protected.local.com. Inside the virtual host block, we are gonna add the following configuration. Let's break this down. If model security2_model, this is a safety wrapper. It ensures that Apache won't crash if you ever disable the modsecurity model. The rules inside it will only be processed if it is active. segrule_engine_on. This directive overrides the global segrule_engine_off we set at the beginning. Set action blah blah blah. This line sets the paranoia level for the OWASP CRS. Finally, the include line, the two include lines, are to load the rules we just download from the GitHub repo. So now we're gonna check the syntax. If you see that it says it's okay, then you're ready to go. Reload the web service so the changes will take effect. And this is the most exciting part. It's time to test. We are gonna use curl to send a simple but potentially malicious request to both sides, the unprotected one and the one we just secured. This line simulates a common injection attack pattern that the OWASP CRS is designed to catch. So as we can see, the unprotected side is gonna return a normal 200 OK response. However, the protected one is gonna intercept it and block it, so it's gonna return a 403 forbidden error. So, long story short, this confirms that our setup is working perfectly. Bye bye! Wait, I'm glad you stayed a bit longer. If you would like to know the common mistakes you can make during this process, or how to configure the login file, let me know in the comments and give me a thumbs up please. And now, yes, goodbye!